Most people want access to powerful people. They want mentors, investors, influential friends, elite circles, but they approach power the wrong way. They approach it emotionally. They try to impress. They try to flatter. They try to prove themselves worthy. And powerful people instantly lose interest. Why? Because power does not respond to admiration. It responds to usefulness. Machiavelli understood something most people still refuse to accept. Power is not moral. It is not sentimental. It is not impressed by effort. Power is strategic. And if you want access to powerful people, you must stop thinking like a fan and start thinking like an asset. Here's the brutal truth. Powerful people are surrounded by three types of individuals: those who want something, those who fear them, those who are useful to them. The first two are invisible. The third is indispensable. Most people approach powerful individuals from a position of need. They want advice, they want funding, they want opportunity. But when you approach from need, you communicate weakness, and weakness triggers distance. Machiavelli wrote that rulers respect strength and utility, not desperation. If you approach someone powerful thinking, "How can they help me?" you have already lost. The correct question is, how can I increase their position? Powerful people think in leverage, not emotion, not sympathy. Leverage. If you can expand their influence, protect their reputation, increase their profit, or reduce their risk, you become interesting. Not because you are impressive, but because you are strategically valuable. Now here is where most people misunderstand Machiavelli. They think this means manipulation. It does not. It means alignment. You do not trick powerful people. You understand their incentives and position yourself accordingly. Before you ever try to connect with someone powerful, you must study them. Not their personality, their ambition. What are they building? What are they lacking? What risks threaten them? What image do they protect? Machiavelli believed that understanding motive is the foundation of influence. If you don't understand someone's motive, you cannot align with it. And without alignment, there is no access. Another mistake people make: they try to stand out loudly. They talk too much. They display knowledge unnecessarily. They compete for attention. This is dangerous. Machiavelli warned against appearing threatening to those above you. If you make powerful people feel overshadowed, you trigger defense, and defense closes doors permanently. The correct strategy is subtle competence. You demonstrate value without challenging authority. You provide insight without arrogance. You support without appearing dependent. Powerful people test silently. They observe. They ask small questions. They give minor tasks. They create low-risk interactions. And they measure something very specific. Are you stable? Can you keep secrets? Can you handle pressure? Can you operate without ego? Because power attracts chaos, and powerful individuals are constantly filtering instability. If you appear emotionally reactive, attention-seeking, or unreliable, you are eliminated quietly. Machiavelli emphasized reputation as a form of armor. Before you approach power, your reputation must precede you, not as famous, as competent. In your domain, you must become undeniable, not globally, locally. In your niche, your skill must speak for you. Powerful people do not collect potential, they collect precision. This means, stop trying to network upward before you have built weight. Weight is competence, plus discretion, plus reliability. Without weight, your presence feels light, forgettable, replaceable. Another uncomfortable truth: powerful people rarely respect those who chase them. Scarcity increases perceived value. If you are always available, always asking, always trying, you reduce your leverage. Machiavelli observed that rulers value what is difficult to control. When you operate independently, when you are building your own path, when you are not orbiting their attention, you become intriguing. Because power respects autonomy. The paradox is this: to connect with powerful people, you must not appear to need them. You must be building something regardless. That energy changes dynamics instantly. Now here's something deeper. Powerful individuals live in constant calculation. They assess loyalty, competence, and threat levels constantly. If you gossip, you are marked as dangerous. If you overpraise, you are marked as weak. If you criticize carelessly, you are marked as reckless. But if you are composed, measured, and strategically useful, you are remembered. Not emotionally, strategically. And in Machiavelli's world, being strategically remembered is far more valuable than being liked. Most people try to enter powerful circles directly. They send messages. They request meetings. They ask for mentorship. This almost never works. Why? Because power protects itself. Elite circles are not guarded by walls. They are guarded by filters. And the first filter is status alignment. Machiavelli understood hierarchy deeply. If you approach someone far above your current position without leverage, you force them into one of two reactions: ignore you or control you. Neither is access. Real access happens sideways, not upward. You enter powerful circles by first becoming valuable to someone slightly above you, not the king, the lieutenant, not the billionaire, the operator, not the celebrity, the strategist behind them. Power is layered. Most people look at the top. Strategists look at the structure. If you provide value to someone who is already trusted, you inherit proximity, not through asking, through association. Machiavelli believed influence spreads through networks of loyalty. If one trusted individual vouches for you, your credibility multiplies instantly. Without endorsement, you are noise. With endorsement, you are filtered through trust. And trust is the rarest currency in elite environments. Now here's the second mistake people make. They try to impress powerful people with ambition. Ambition is common. Execution is rare. Powerful individuals have heard thousands of visions. They are not moved by dreams. They are moved by results. If you want entry, bring proof, not potential. Proof that you can solve a specific problem. Proof that you operate quietly and effectively. Proof that you understand discretion. Machiavelli emphasized something subtle. Those closest to rulers must be both capable and non-threatening. If you appear overly ambitious around power, you create suspicion. Suspicion kills proximity. Instead, demonstrate controlled ambition, focused, measured, self-contained. You are building your own path, not trying to hijack theirs. This creates comfort, and comfort allows access. Now let's talk about presence. Most people talk too much around power. They try to show intelligence. They fill silence. They signal importance. This reveals insecurity. Silence, when controlled, signals confidence. Machiavelli observed that powerful figures respect those who do not seek constant validation. If you speak less but speak precisely, your words carry weight. If you observe more than you perform, you gather information. Information is leverage. Every elite circle has unspoken rules. Who influences whom? Who is insecure? Who holds real authority? If you rush in trying to shine, you miss the map. The quiet observer learns the map first, then moves strategically. Another important principle: do not try to become indispensable immediately. That creates pressure. Instead, become reliable in small ways. Small commitments kept consistently build disproportionate trust. Deliver early, respond clearly, avoid drama. Powerful people eliminate friction. If interacting with you feels simple, your value increases. If interacting with you feels complicated, you disappear. Now here's a critical Machiavellian insight. Never attach your identity to one powerful person. Dependency reduces leverage. If your entire network revolves around one individual, you become controllable, and controllable allies are less respected. Instead, build horizontal strength, multiple alliances, multiple skills, multiple revenue sources. When you are stable independently, your presence feels optional. Optional equals powerful. Neediness equals replaceable. And powerful people sense this instantly. Now let's address something uncomfortable. Not everyone in elite circles is competent. Some are there through inheritance, some through politics, some through timing. If you openly criticize or expose weaknesses, you create enemies. Machiavelli warned against humiliating those above you, even if they deserve it. Your intelligence must be strategic. Correct privately, praise publicly, and never compete for dominance. Dominance challenges trigger retaliation. Cooperation invites opportunity. Another principle: guard secrets like treasure. Power revolves around sensitive information. If you casually share private conversations to signal closeness, you signal disloyalty. And disloyalty spreads fast. In elite circles, reputation travels faster than you. Protecting others' interests protects your future. Now here's something few understand. Access to power is rarely immediate. It is gradual, tested, observed. You may be given minor tasks repeatedly. This is not exploitation, it is evaluation. Can you operate without ego? Can you operate without ego? Can you execute without supervision? Can you stay consistent under boredom? Consistency is more valuable than brilliance. Brilliance can be dangerous. Consistency is safe. And safety earns trust. Now we approach something deeper. The real reason most people never connect with powerful individuals is not lack of opportunity. It is emotional instability. Power amplifies stress. If you are reactive, if you take things personally, if you need constant reassurance, you cannot survive proximity to power. Machiavelli admired emotional discipline, the ability to remain composed when others panic. If you cultivate that trait, you become rare, and rarity attracts opportunity. Getting close to power is one thing. Remaining valuable is another. Most people fail here. They gain proximity and then ruin it. Not because they lack skill, but because they misunderstand dynamics. Power is sensitive to threat. The closer you get to influence, the more carefully you must manage perception. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He wrote that rulers value strong allies, but they eliminate rivals. The difference between ally and rival is perception, not capability. If your competence makes powerful people feel secure, you rise. If your competence makes them feel replaceable, you fall. This is the subtle art. You must increase your value without increasing suspicion. First principle, make powerful people feel stronger around you, not overshadowed. If you constantly display superior insight publicly, correct them publicly, or attract attention at their expense, you create silent enemies. Instead, enhance their authority, provide insight privately, support decisions publicly, offer solutions without claiming spotlight. This builds loyalty upward, and loyalty upward creates protection downward. Second principle, be slightly underestimated. This sounds counterintuitive, but Machiavelli warned that obvious ambition triggers defensive behavior. If everyone sees you as rapidly rising, you attract resistance. If you move strategically but quietly, you advance without friction. Appear focused, not aggressive. Competent, not dominant. Useful, not hungry. Let your results speak in controlled ways. Underestimation gives you room to maneuver. Overexposure creates pressure. Now here's a deeper layer. In elite environments, people are constantly evaluating. Is this person controllable? If the answer is yes, you will be used. If the answer is no, you may be removed. The balance is delicate. You must be cooperative, but not dependent. Capable, but not threatening. Independent, but not detached. Machiavelli believed flexibility is survival. Rigidity breaks. Emotional intelligence becomes your shield. Read the room. Know when to speak. Know when to withdraw. Know when to align. Know when to align. Another mistake people make, they try to secure long-term guarantees, contracts, promises, titles, but power shifts, and rigid security can make you a liability. Instead of chasing position, increase leverage. Leverage comes from three things: skill, reputation, information. Skill makes you useful. Reputation makes you trusted. Information makes you strategic. Information is especially powerful, not gossip. Insight, understanding market shifts, competitor weaknesses, internal blind spots. If you can see patterns others miss, your value increases exponentially. But here is the key. Never hoard information to manipulate. Offer it at the right time. Precision builds credibility. Now let's address something dangerous. Be careful not to become the scapegoat. In elite circles, when failure happens, someone absorbs blame. If you operate without visibility protection, you may be chosen. Machiavelli warned that proximity to power increases risk. Protect yourself by documenting contributions subtly. Build alliances horizontally. Ensure others recognize your role. Never isolate yourself under one powerful individual's shadow. If they fall, you fall. Diversify trust. Build multiple advocates. Now here is something most people misunderstand about power. Powerful individuals are often lonely, not emotionally weak, strategically isolated. They cannot fully trust most people. If you demonstrate discretion, measured speech, and emotional stability, you become rare. Rare creates gravity. But do not exploit vulnerability. That is short-term thinking. Instead, create reliability. Reliability compounds. Now, let's talk about visibility. Too much visibility attracts competition. Too little visibility makes you invisible. The ideal position is controlled visibility, recognized for competence, not famous for ambition. In meetings, contribute solutions, not dominance. In discussions, clarify, not confront, and never embarrass someone publicly. Public humiliation creates permanent enemies. Even if you are correct, especially if you are correct. Now, here's a Machiavellian truth many avoid. Sometimes you must step back to rise later. If tension builds around your presence, reduce exposure, let others relax. Advance again when resistance lowers. Timing is more important than force. Most people push too hard, too early. Strategists wait. Patience multiplies impact. Another principle: controlled emotional reactions. In elite spaces, provocations are common. Subtle tests, dismissive comments, delayed responses. If you react emotionally, you signal instability. Composure under tension builds invisible authority. Authority without title is the most powerful kind. Now we approach a critical insight. Never let your identity revolve around proximity to power. If your value depends on being connected, you are fragile. Instead, build something independently. A skill set, a revenue stream, a personal brand of competence. When you are strong alone, alliances become strategic, not desperate. And powerful people respect strength. They may not say it, but they measure it. Power is not stable. It looks stable from a distance. But inside elite circles, alliances shift quietly. Interests change. Conflicts build beneath the surface. If you are close to powerful people, you must understand one rule. Proximity to power increases both opportunity and danger. Machiavelli observed that rulers often sacrifice allies to preserve their own position, not out of cruelty, out of survival. If a situation requires blame, distance will be created. And if you are positioned poorly, you may become expendable. So how do you avoid being sacrificed? The answer is strategic loyalty, not blind loyalty, not emotional loyalty, strategic loyalty. Blind loyalty makes you dependent. Dependent people are easy to replace. Strategic loyalty means this: you support decisively, but you maintain independent value. You are known as reliable, consistent, discreet, but your entire identity does not rest on one alliance. Machiavelli warned against tying your fate too tightly to one ruler. If they fall, their loyalists fall first. Instead, build layered loyalty. Respect upward, alliances sideways, stability downward. You need multiple anchors. Now here's something critical. Never be the loudest defender. When controversies arise, when criticism appears, when politics intensify, observe first. Those who rush to defend publicly expose themselves. Powerful people remember who stood beside them, but they also remember who spoke too loudly. Over-attachment creates suspicion. Support with composure, not emotional display. Another rule: do not get involved in every conflict. Elite environments are full of subtle rivalries. If you take sides too quickly, you inherit enemies. Machiavelli emphasized neutrality until clarity appears. You do not need to comment on everything. Silence is often protection. Now let's talk about distance. One of the most underestimated skills in elite circles is knowing when to step back. If tension grows around your presence, reduce visibility. If leadership feels threatened by rapid growth, slow your expansion temporarily. This is not weakness. It is timing. Machiavelli understood rhythm. Push, pause, advance. Most people push continuously, and continuous pressure creates resistance. Strategic distance makes people miss your value, and absence increases perceived importance. Now here is a behavior that instantly destroys influence: gossip. The moment you share private information to build rapport, you destroy long-term trust, even if others enjoy the conversation. Powerful people assume, if they speak about others, they will speak about me. Trust evaporates instantly, and in elite environments, trust is the foundation of proximity. Guard information. Protect conversations. Operate with discipline. Another danger: becoming too comfortable. Once you gain access, familiarity can weaken perception. Jokes that go too far, Casual disrespect, unfiltered opinions. Machiavelli warned that familiarity reduces authority, even between allies. Maintain subtle respect at all times, not fear, respect. Powerful people track boundaries. If you cross them repeatedly, you become unstable in their eyes. Now let's address ambition. Ambition is necessary, but visible ambition near power must be controlled. If you appear to be positioning yourself to replace or outshine someone, you activate defense mechanisms, and powerful individuals do not tolerate perceived threats for long. Advance through competence, not through political maneuvering. If your growth is tied to results, it feels justified. If your growth feels political, it feels dangerous. Now something deeper. Every powerful environment has a moment of fracture, a scandal, a loss, a strategic mistake. This is the most dangerous time. When instability rises, blame travels downward. Protect yourself by maintaining documentation, clarity of roles, and witnesses to your contributions. Never operate invisibly during high-risk projects. Visibility protects you, but again, controlled visibility, not loud, strategic. Now let's discuss emotional control again. Powerful environments amplify ego. If someone undermines you subtly, do not react publicly. Respond with results. Silence combined with performance is stronger than confrontation. Machiavelli believed that revenge taken too soon weakens position. Patience strengthens it. Sometimes the best move is no move. Now here is the final principle of survival around power. Always be building something independent, not as an escape plan, as leverage. If your entire status depends on one structure, you are vulnerable. But if you have skills, assets, and alliances outside that structure, you are resilient. Resilient individuals are respected. Dependent individuals are controlled. And controlled individuals are disposable. There is a difference between being useful and being indispensable. Most people reach usefulness. Very few reach indispensability. Useful people are appreciated. Indispensable people are protected. And in elite circles, protection is everything. Machiavelli understood that rulers keep close those who increase stability, not those who simply perform tasks. If your value can be easily replaced, you remain temporary. If your value is integrated into structure, you become strategic. So how do you transition from useful to indispensable? First, you must understand leverage at a structural level. Tasks are replaceable. Systems are not. If you merely execute instructions, you are labor. If you understand how decisions affect revenue, influence, risk, and reputation, you become strategic. Begin thinking beyond your role. Ask yourself, what vulnerabilities exist here? Where are inefficiencies hiding? What blind spots are ignored? When you start solving problems that powerful people haven't articulated yet, your value shifts upward. You are no longer reactive. You are anticipatory. Anticipation creates authority. Second, become a stabilizer. Powerful people operate in volatile environments, stress, politics, competition. If your presence reduces friction, you gain invisible influence. You don't escalate drama. You don't react emotionally. You don't amplify tension. You bring clarity. Clarity is rare, and rare traits become indispensable. Now here is something deeper. Influence is not about speaking the most. It is about shaping outcomes quietly. Machiavelli emphasized indirect power, the ability to guide decisions without appearing to dominate them. Instead of arguing forcefully, ask precise questions. Instead of rejecting ideas publicly, suggest refinements privately. People protect ideas they believe are theirs. If you attach your ego to your influence, you reduce it. True influence is subtle. Now let's address a critical shift. At some point, powerful individuals begin testing loyalty differently, not with tasks, with secrets. Information may be shared that is sensitive. Your reaction determines your future. If you exploit it, you are finished. If you handle it carelessly, you are demoted silently. If you protect it without display, trust deepens. Trust deepens into reliance. Reliance evolves into indispensability. But here is the ultimate Machiavellian rule. Never allow yourself to become so indispensable that you threaten authority. There is a threshold. If your influence becomes visible beyond comfort, defense mechanisms activate. This is where many intelligent people fall. They rise too quickly. They gather too much influence. They become too central. And then they are removed. The art is balance. High value, low ego, strong capability, controlled visibility. Machiavelli warned that power tolerates competence but fears dominance. So remain powerful without appearing hungry for power. Now let's move to the psychology of attraction. The highest level of connection with powerful people is when they begin seeking you, not because you chase them, because your absence is felt. This happens when you are selective with time. You are measured in speech. You deliver consistently. You do not overexpose yourself. Scarcity increases perceived value. If you are always present, you become background noise. If you operate with intention, your presence gains weight. Weight commands respect. Now, the final layer. You must always remember powerful people are not superior beings. They are strategic actors in structured environments. If you romanticize them, you weaken yourself. If you resent them, you isolate yourself. See them clearly. Strengths, weaknesses, insecurities. Machiavelli believed understanding human nature is the key to influence. Powerful individuals fear betrayal. They fear irrelevance. They fear loss of control. If you reduce those fears, you become trusted. If you increase those fears, you become removed.